And she was like, yeah, no, I'm just tired of the cat pissing on my shit. Fuck you, Portia did. Fuck you. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Talent Love, and I'm coming back at you again with another video. This time, y'all, we getting back into part 2 this time of Curly and Slim, my psychotic ass roommates. Okay, so let me tell you, last time when we left off, we had left off where I had gave Curly the permission to go ahead and exit out of that contract. See you later, bye sis, get your money back, you out. Curly said no. Okay, so because they did sign a roommate contract, and it was quite extensive. It was like, if you just like walk out on the contract or whatever, then you know you had to pay at least 4 months of rent, or until we find somebody. Like, you got to help me find somebody. But I've had people leave, and you know, I never like made people stick to that or whatever. And it's just like, it was just more so in place of like if somebody just wanted to up and leave with no problems, and like don't have me stuck like paying the rent thinking I was supposed to pay one thing and then I have to pay another. So anyway, if this is your first time here, hello, welcome to the Glam Squad. My name is Talent Love, or Portia, Mercedes, whatever you want to call me. And yeah, go ahead and give this video a glittery pink thumbs up, okay? Because the intro's short this time, and we just gonna get back into it. Y'all, if I get a little glowy, it's because it's warm in here. I just cut the AC up just a little bit, so we'll be cooling down in a second because I don't want to put the fan on. So anyway, back into the story we go. So that passes. So that was maybe a couple days in. I think I told y'all it was like no more than a week in. Okay, so that same day I had to address this issue. So on that same day, I had went down in the basement, and I realized like the back door was okay, so there was a basement door that was like an entrance, and then when you walk out of it, was a pathway that led to the not garage, but the patio, what am I saying, like the fence that leads to the backyard, the fence, that door, there we go, that opens and closes. And then once you walk through the fence, it's our cars sitting in a driveway. So both of them were open, the back door and the fence door, there we go. So with that being said, I'm like not one of those people, like in my next place I want like a security system and like cameras and all of that, because I know eventually that I'm going to have to do that with YouTube and stuff like that, because I've heard a lot of real life horror stories with some influencers where they thought they was like could be living like regular people, and they couldn't because they just thought they was still regular, and I don't ever want to be a victim of that. So yeah, I already know eventually when I move out on my own again, it's gonna have to be like that. So this is what I texted her. This is the same day. I was like, this is Curly, by the way, the older one, not Slim. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure if the other girl is in the basement to lock the door behind you, but we always keep the basement door locked at all times to keep everyone safe, so no one uninvited can sneak in, since there is no outside entrance lock. Like when you close the door, you can't, like if I was outside, I can't put a key in and get in. You can only lock it and unlock it from the inside. So she was like, my fault, I'll be right there. And that was before she came back so we could have that talking to. So that same day, excuse me. So yeah, that same day we had, that was another issue that I forgot to mention. And that's key too. So 2 days later, you know, she's just texting about you know, just the trailer and all of that stuff that she had in the driveway, blah 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 blah. So now a week goes by or whatnot, and like it's no more than a week. Actually, I have the text messages. Let's see. Okay, so it's literally 10 days later. So Slim texts me out of the blue. I'm out working or whatever, you know, I do my long hours, so I'm out working and doing my thing and all that good stuff, and Slim texts me randomly at like 4 in the afternoon while I'm actually just working my butt off, and I see this long text message come through, and this is what it says. Hey, so we're having some issues with Zen coming down and peeing on some of our stuff. Zen is my cat. Typically, I have no issue with the cat being down there and in my room and stuff because I love cats. But neither of us can afford to have anything destroyed. I'm not sure what the best fix would be here outside of some sort of gate that you could easily open to come down and do laundry, but that would also prevent him from being able to hop over and down, question mark. We're open to any suggestions and stuff, but end goal is just not to have anything peed on. And I didn't have a issue with, obviously, them having their stuff peed on, okay? Let's get that, let's put that on Front Street. But the issue I had was, I don't know if y'all remember from the first story, what did I say? I told them before they moved in, when I was just showing the place, before they agreed to anything, he pees on things. And you guys, like, I've tried to like punish him and scold him, but it's only so much you could do to a cat. Like, you can't just beat the hell out of a cat. Like what else could you do? Like, if the cat just keep doing stuff after you scold them and punish them, and like, there's nothing else you could do. You can't leave him in a cage all day. So I told them, like, this is what he does, and I'm being straight up about it. So you can't like be leaving stuff on the floor. And I told y'all I was under the impression that they made it very clear that they were going to have living room things in the living room and bed stuff in the bedroom, and they were sharing the bedroom together, but they didn't do it that way. They set it up, and the girl Curly had put her blow-up mattress in the living room and then put a damn like curtain that she like nailed across the ceiling. And I'm like, a blow-up mattress in the living room where the cat can just walk downstairs to it? Are you crazy? How does that make any sense? Like, let's use our brains here. Like, come on, man. Shoot. So that was the issue I had with it. We already talked about this. So at this one, it's your fault. So now you have to rearrange your stuff. Why do you have boxes and all this crap and sheets thrown all over the floor? So I text her back and I said, hey, Slim, I gave you a call while I didn't have a ride out working. It's quicker for me to speak than text while I'm working. I can either call you again when I'm freed up from rides. We can speak in person, or I could text you back when I'm home after 2-3 a.m. So, and that's because, you know, I like sometimes I work late. My schedule be all over the place. I go by my sleep schedule. I'm not good off of anything less than 8 hours of sleep. So if I go to bed late, I'm sleeping for 8 hours. And when I get up after the 8 hours is up, that's what time I get up. Because I'm not a nice person off anything less than 8 hours. Okay, I'm a crazy, okay, like I be emotional, crying, anything triggers me, like I'm not the one. So I try to call, and that was after I called. I sent that text. So she texts back and says, hey, sorry, I'm just out with my dad right now for a late Father's Day since I had to work all day yesterday, but I can text or call when I'm done. And that was cool. Like, we have lives. So I said, okay, text me when you're done and I'll give you a call when I get a break in rides again. Thanks so much. Because when I'm on a ride, I can't really answer. So, okay, so like 3.5 hours go by and I'm taking a break to eat, and I still remember what I was going to get Subway that day. So I'm walking in to get Subway, and when I finished eating my Subway, I'm sitting there waiting on the ride, and I was like, let me formulate a text message and send it to her. So I texted her and I said, I caught a break in rides, so I'm able to text. Thanks for letting me know that I apologize for what's happening with Zen peeing on you all's things. When we met in the very beginning, I let you all know to keep all doors closed and that the living room wouldn't be an issue with Zen peeing on anything, because he doesn't pee on sofas, only on things that are on the floor. That was because I assumed that the living room was being turned into a living room. I don't mind that it's a room now, but we do have to move differently because of it. I have seen the laundry room door and Curly's door open several times, so I will suggest keeping all doors closed at all times like we do upstairs, even the bathroom, which I suggested, remember, before they moved in. And as far as the living room, if clothes could remain picked up off the floor, That will cease all the issues with Zen. If it continues, we can look at gate options together to fix the problem, as I always want to make you all feel comfortable and heard. I also want to know what rooms he peed in and where were they at, floor, bed, and etc. And the reason I wanted to know that was because if you tell me that he peed on something in the living room and you had sheets on the floor, I don't want to hear it. Like, if it's something in the living room, like, no, I told you what it was. It's your fault now. If you've been warned, it's your fault. You've been warned, you agree, it's your fault. I don't want to hear it. So, and y'all gonna find out real fast. I'm a no nonsense kind of girl, and I'm gonna stick to the facts kind of girl. The facts are the facts, okay? I understand things change and all of that, and your feelings change, but the facts are the facts. And if I did my due diligence at the beginning, I really don't want to hear you complaining like it's my fault. I don't. So she goes, that all makes sense. I guess the biggest issue now is us just slowly unpacking and stuff, being out as we do so. But I'll try to be mindful about stuff out and all of that right now, and see if that seizes the issues. I'm not sure exactly what in her room, but in mine, it was just the bed sheet on the floor. Why was your room door open? Because Slim was in the room and Curly was out in the living room. So Slim is saying it was a bed sheet on the floor. If you're gonna have your door open, why was your stuff on the floor? Just close all the doors. Me and the other two roommates, Romaine, and I forgot what we named the other one. I know it was a flower name, but me, Romaine, and the other roommate who's gonna get a story time, we didn't have any issues the whole time we were living together because we all closed the doors. Even Romaine had a cat, and he knew. We all knew, okay? We never had an issue. It's common sense. Follow the directions, sweetie. That's what I said in kindergarten. Follow the directions. The direction, okay? Use your listening ears. So anyway, she says, we'll just see how it goes from here, and focus on being mindful and see if it's still an issue after we truly unpack and get everything set up fully. Thank you. So that's what happened. Okay, so that's that evening at 4 o'clock, y'all. So I want to say around like 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm rolling deep, getting my back-to-back rides, you know, just going in because there ain't no traffic. I'm rolling, getting my rides back-to-back. And y'all, I gotta find out what the hell I called this girl in my last story times. Hold on. Oh, okay, we call her Jane. She wasn't a flower name. Her name was Jane. Okay. So Jane calls me, and Jane's this like 9-10 at night, y'all. No, it had to be close to 11. It was like 10:40 something, because I remember it was late. And I'm like, why is Jane calling me this late? First she starts texting me actually, and she's just like, and her text messages, we have so many that I'm not going back searching for those receipts, but the other ones, y'all already seen them, they up here. So Jane's texting me like, hey, there's an issue, like one of the roommates is yelling downstairs, screaming. Her boyfriend's here, and she's just like yelling and venting and saying, you know, F that B and da da da, nobody's gonna say anything to me, like screaming at the top of her lungs. And I'm like, what? Like going outside screaming out at the backyard while she's smoking her cigarettes and everything. And y'all, I'm the type of person, my mama raised me with class, okay? And I feel like other races sometimes look at black folks and think that where everybody's ratchet or whatever. Let me tell you, every white person isn't a saint, and every black person isn't a ghetto hood rat thug. That's just that on that. So I think that she was under the impression that's how we was gonna be rocking in the house, and we never was like that. Like, I'm really quiet in a place that I live in. You'll hear, the only time you really hear me talking is when I'm doing my videos, sometimes on the phone, but yeah. So Jane's like, yo, you know, she's screaming, da 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 da, and I'm like, okay, well, just keep me posted. I'm out getting to the bag. Like, if it gets out of control, hit me up. So Jane hits me further and was like, yo, like, it's getting real bad. Like, I think you need to come home. Like, she's calling me now. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, in between rides, I'm trying to like text and figure it out. So she was like, you need to come home. And I'm like, is it really that bad where I need to come home? Like, it's not my money. Because I knew once, if it's that bad that I need to come home, when I get there, it's going to be real bad. And I'm going to be in a different mood and not want to like do work anymore. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to be too tired to come back out. Because it's already 11 o'clock and I was trying to go till 2 a.m. So she's like, you need to get home now. So I'm like, okay, cool. Because I am the head of the household of the roommate agreement. So if anything pops off, my landlord gonna be looking at me. So I was like, okay. So I drive home, and on my way home, I call Curly. And I'm like, hey, Curly. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, is there an issue? You know, Jane just gave me a call and said that, you know, there was some yelling going on in the basement. And I just wanted to make sure. Hold on, let me start this over. And I just wanted to make sure that, you know, everything was okay with you, because she said that you were like kind of erratic and your boyfriend was there, and I want to make sure you were safe and, you know, you guys weren't arguing or whatever. And she was like, yeah, no, I'm just tired of, the cat pissing on my shit. And, fuck you, Portia did, fuck you. And I was like, what the fuck? What? Y'all, you know when you hear somebody who sound like out of it, like I thought she was on some alcohol. So I was like, she got to be drunk out of her mind to think that she gonna cuss at me, baby, and think ain't that gonna happen. Okay, so she going, and I'm looking at the phone because I'm real dry, y'all. Let me tell you. I don't get too excited unless I'm gonna put the pause on you, okay? If I'm not putting the pause on you, I'm gonna talk until I'm blue in the face, because I know what I can do, okay? I know exactly what I can do. My slaps hurt. There was a time I was 10 years old, I was arguing with this boy. I slapped him so hard you could hear it down the street. My friend was like, I heard you slap him down the street. Like, boy fell off the slap. I know what I could do. And I'm not saying that to brag. It just is what it is. I know my power. So I'm kind of like a gentle giant unless I have to go crazy. So she just screaming in the phone. And I'm like, and she was like, yeah, fuck you. And I was like, I'm gonna need you to calm down so we can have a conversation, because I'm not cursing at you. So we can handle ourselves like adults. So whatever the issue is, let's talk about it. Well, your cat's pissing around on cat, piss on my shit. And I said, hello. And I called her name. I said, Curly, calm down. She said, yes. And I said, if you be quiet for a second, I can talk to you, but you're screaming at me and cursing and acting belligerent. I wouldn't talk to my dog the way you're talking to me. And she was like, what do you have to say? And I said, well, I already spoke to Slim, and I know she told you that we would talk about it more, or I would clean it up when I got home, because I did talk to Slim on the phone for a second, I believe, because it's not in the text messages, but I told her I would clean it up when I got home. I know, because I had to say it on the phone to her. She was like, yeah, but you're still not home, da, da, da. And I said, yeah, I'm working. And I said, but now I'm on my way home, because that wasn't good enough for you. That wasn't good enough for you, and you're doing a lot right now. And so she started screaming some more, and she just hung up the phone, and I let her. So y'all, I called my cousin again, and I'm like, yo, this what's going on. And he was like, stay on the phone with me, because I want to make sure you don't do that, because he knows the calmer I get, like, the more of an issue it's going to be. Okay, that's the Jamaican in me. The calmer I get, the more, you know, it's going to be an issue. Like, you should be scared. So he was like, oh my gosh, please just stay on the phone. He was like, because we don't want the police to be called and favor be taken because of and your. So I was like, okay. He was like, so keep yourself calm. And I was like, all right, cool. So I get home, and she just yelling and slamming doors. And when I went downstairs, she was like in the room yelling from inside of the room. She had went into Curly had went into Slim's room of screaming. And remember, Curly's the older one, acting like a fool, a little bit older than me, a little bit. So Curly's in there screaming and whatnot, da 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 da. So I'm like, I'm not like about to knock on her door, you know, because I feel like I don't want to like ignite a fire, like because if you come out swinging, like I'm gonna just go ahead and beat your head in, like your whole nose gonna be on the floor. So I already knew we're not gonna be doing that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just stay upstairs. And I'm talking to Jane, and Jane has her female friend over. We just chit chatting and talking about, she's like, yeah, she said she's gonna kill your cat. And I was like, don't nobody mess with Zen. Nobody talk about Zen, okay? I understand Zen, he did his Zen, but Zen's my baby, okay? I'm a cat girl. I love cats. They're so cute. Everything about them, how they meow, how they yawn, how they close their little eyes, how they like touch you with their paw. I'm a cat girl, okay? Nobody's gonna talk about killing my cat, period. That's on period. So that was my son. So, and he can't protect himself. He can't speak. So I'm going to do that for him. So I heard him talking, she going in, and I told her, so she comes out, she gets bold with it because she could hear me walking around now, like up the stairs. So she comes out of her room, still in the basement, and she's yelling like, da 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 da, nobody's gonna do anything to me. And that still drunk tone, nobody's gonna do anything to me. Yeah, I'll fight anybody I have to. And y'all, I just went ahead and went there, and I was like, I wish you would bring your bitch ass up the stairs, period. Bring your bitch ass up the stairs, talk that shit to my face, and see what it is. And my cousin was like, oh boy. He on the phone like, hey, calm down, calm down, calm down. And I'm like, oh, I'm calm. And I was like, I'm gonna be sitting right here all night long. So at that point, everything she's screaming, yeah, da da da, oh yeah, da da. And I said, well, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? So she's still going on and cussing and all this. So y'all, I was like, and you're getting your 30-day notice tomorrow, period. Y'all, she ain't even last but what, like 2.5 weeks? You're getting your 30-day notice tomorrow, period. Okay, so I ended up going to bed that night because I already saw she wasn't about that life. Like I told Jane, Jane was like, I'm ready to square up, da 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 da. And I'm like, and she's like, she said she's gonna kill Zen. I'm like, nah, she's all bark no bite, because she would have came up them stairs. You ain't that bold, sis. You not that bold. What Meg Thee Stallion say? I knocked the shit out of a bitch like an enema, okay? And that's on period. She wasn't that bold. She already knew. So I go to bed that night, and you know, Zen's out and about doing whatever, and he's untouched. So I get up the next morning, and I like in my mind like, okay, I'm gonna have to address Slim, because I'm not addressing Curly, because Curly, I'm just liable to, you know what I'm saying? That's the motto of the night. That's the motto with Curly. So I text Slim the next day, and I said, good morning, Slim. This is at 9:41 a.m. the next morning. I said, I decided to address you by text message because that's the best way that you and I communicate. I want to let you know that I have no problem with you at all, because you've done nothing wrong as far as disturbing the peace in this house goes. You and I had a civilized conversation about the issue at hand, which I respected how you handled everything. However, last night was ridiculous. I had to come home from work early to someone screaming this house down in the middle of the night when people are usually asleep, threatening my cat's well-being, arson threats, because she was saying she would burn the house down. I forgot to tell y'all that. And threats of physical harm on some of the people in this house, all of which are never okay. No one should ever have to come home to that. I was confused as to if anyone was under the influence with the childlike emotional outbursts, erratic behavior, inability to have a two-sided conversation, and threats being made. Disturbing the peace in the house for other roommates is never an option, which is why I took your complaint seriously yesterday when you texted me and called you as soon as I could, even though I was at work. That's how it should be. This house has never seen that much action and or drama, and I never want to see or hear it again when a conversation could have been had between any person and I, minus yelling the same as you and I did. I respect you for that. There will be a 30-day notice And it will be on the bedroom door for Curly when she returns. However, you won't be getting one and are more than welcome to stay. If you end up deciding to leave as well, which I totally understand, you just need to give me a written or typed up 30-day notice as well. Until further notice, please let me know if there are any further issues as far as them peeing on your things goes, which there should not be, as I've taken preventative measures to eliminate the issues as best I can. I wish you all the best, Slim. So I sent Slim that message, and I decided that doing a 30-day notice and putting it on the door wasn't good enough for me. I had to give it to Curly by hand, because at this point now I'm going to rub it in, get your ass out. So what I do next is I go ahead and I type it up, typed it all up, and I went downstairs. I heard Curly was outside smoking a cigarette, so I had went downstairs and was like, "Hey Curly, good morning." And she was just like, "Good morning," like looking all apologetic. "Good morning." And I was like, "Here you go, Curly." And she was like, "Thank you." And then like looked at it and then put it in her back pocket because she knew it was coming. I'm sure Slim told her. So Slim writes me back maybe an hour later after I send the first text, I give the notice, and then Slim and Curly go on a ride, and I think they were sitting in the car after a while in the front of the house just having a conversation. So Slim writes me back and was like, "Morning, Portia. Thank you for letting me know all of that, and I am very sorry for how things happened last night. I know Curly feels crappy about how she acted as well, but that's something she needs to tell you herself. I will definitely let you know of what my plans are as soon as I decide. Just have some thinking to do, but definitely won't skip out and announce if on anyone if I decide to go as well." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am. I respect any decision that you make, no matter what your decision is. I will continue to speak to you with love, respect, and peace as I have before, and I will continue on our journey of coexisting as roommates." So I'm like, okay. So honestly, the thing about that was I didn't have no issue with Slim at that point. I really didn't, because the thing about it is, like, I don't believe in blaming innocent bystanders or making them guilty by association because of who they friends with. That's just not the type of girl I am, and my mom never taught me to be that way. I know it's people that rock like that, but I'm not one of them. So I just felt like it would have been totally unfair to hold her accountable for the actions of her friend who was older than her, when she was just really a sweet girl. Like, she would drink her beer and play her music loud at night, and play her, you know, her instrument or whatever, but she never bothered me. And noise don't really bother me. It's like disturbances and like ruckus and like, I can't think of the name of it right now, but basically just dysfunction. I don't like dysfunction at all. So anyway, so that happened. So you guys, right after that, Curly ends up sending me a text message, but I'm gonna cut the story right here because at this point we are at almost 30 minutes of a story time. So I'm gonna cut part 2 right here, and then we're gonna step into part 3 that's gonna drop at 8 a.m. So yeah, until next time, I love you guys so much. Stay fresh and stay fierce.